Good morning. Good morning. Infinity back on top. First one here. Let's see. Florencia. Yeah. Good morning. I don't recognize your name. I'm just trying to figure out if I'm saying it right. You let me know in the chat. Ronald, Mark, Larry, David, Arturo, Gregory. I'm sure Kimberly will tell me I said it completely wrong. Michael. Back at it. Michael. Love it. Sergio, Maurizio, JB, Dex, Kimberly, my lovely wife. Good morning. Ben, Philip. Let's see. Good morning, fellow traders. Yeah. The roofing project did leak last night, or Saturday, I guess. It was yesterday, really, it leaked. Awesome, right? Anyway, Donald, Andreas, Penny, Gary, Tara, Ted, Rungemer, good morning. Cliff, Harry, Don, Kevin, Anthony, Terrence, Link E's World, Link E's World. Good morning. I don't recognize your name either. Svenborn, Al, Tim, Darren. Good morning. If you want to chat with me, like all the fine folks saying, hey, click the button right over here, be a subscriber, and then hit the bell with the notifications. I go live every morning at 9:15 and discuss how the market's going. Hey, John, how's it going? Not sure I recognize your name either. Welcome, Jan, Darren. Morning, everybody. So, hey, Prayful, Alan, and did we put the big bear to rest? Guess what? The big case for the lower low was put to rest last week with the higher high in S&P 500. I'm here to talk about this morning. And leveraged. Let's try it one more time. And right over here, look, we made that higher high on Friday in the cash index right there. That went higher right here. It's like, if I could put a big flash around it, I would right there. That invalidated. There are a few solid rules in Elliott wave theory. One of them is that the wave 2 cannot exceed the start point. All right, I've been talking about this for days, weeks, feels like, since we bottomed in October, really, that we needed that higher high than right here to invalidate what could have been a leading diagonal for a big down. And it had me very concerned the last couple, particularly the last week when we were just chopping right here. This could have been a leading diagonal down. This could have been a wave 2 retrace deep, because that's what it does off a leading diagonal. And we could have seen a sudden drop to a much lower low. And we're talking about lower low, possibly lower than October. But we negated that with that higher high. Like I said, very few rules that are actually firm rules. There's a lot of guidelines in Elliott wave, but very few rules. One of the rules, wave 2 cannot exceed the origin point. Now, this could be a new origin point, and we could set it up and go down now. But this move up off of October 22's low is incomplete at this point, and we're probably going to move on up into this 5,000 area heading into 2024. Now, that doesn't mean we won't get a retrace. We're probably going to retrace. It could be 3 to 5%. It could feel pretty ugly. It could be pretty fast. It could be pretty gnarly. But heading into 2024, big picture, we are probably going to make a higher high than the high we made right back here at the beginning of 2022. It's on the chart. All right. You mark it down today, December 11th, 2023. JT said we were going to make a higher high before we make a lower low than we made in October. If I'm wrong, it's just because everything went south. The chart pattern says we're going to do this. We're going to make a high higher than this. Could be as high as 6,000. 5,000 is probably a better target for now until we see what shapes up. See this next correction, next little 3 to 5% pullback, and see what the projection is off of that. All right. This Friday was very, very, very positive. Like, it was the fact that we spiked that higher high. Beautiful. All right. We had already done it on the simplified daily close, and I was thinking it was just a matter of time before we got it on the actual candle chart. We got it on Friday, and we were already 70% likely to go up to 47.18 on the daily closes. All coming together here, filling in all the gaps. You know, NQ, NASDAQ, QQQ had already invalidated the bearish potential. So I thought it was just a matter of time before S&P 500 did also, but it was still there. Like, it was still on the chart. So now we're getting everything tilted back, going the same direction. Even Russell kind of making, kind of setting up a bullish case here. Now, this doesn't mean we're not going to see a pullback. All right. We are highly likely to see a pullback at some point here. We came straight up off the lows on ES, S&P 500, and we're getting a little red here today. S5FI hanging out above 80. I kind of speculated that we may see one more little squeak higher before we roll over. This is S&P 500 stocks above their 50-day moving average. We don't typically hang out above 80 or below 20 for very long without going, it's kind of like a giant market oscillator, if you want to look at it that way. You can't trade this. It's just like an index. All right. It says it right there, index. So S5FI, if you want to see a live chart for it, you're going to have to go to like barchart.com. And when the market's open, they give you a live one. It's not for like 9 more minutes, but there you go. And I just have a free membership here. So this will update during the day, and we'll see. For my purposes, I just use the daily updating chart. You can see the little E right there, and end of day. That's the only time it updates. And these little D's are delayed data. I don't pay for futures data, so I have 10-minute delayed data. So you ever wonder, what the symbols mean? Just hold your mouse over it on TradingView. We did get a gap up. You cannot trade shares of SPX, but you can trade options on SPX. All right. Now, you can trade contracts on ES. Those are futures. You can trade options on ES. Do I recommend it? No, that's futures. Be careful. Futures are, it's like rolling around in gasoline and then playing with matches. I mean, you're going to get burned like pretty badly. And yes, there's a reason I said it that horrifically. I mean, you can lose all your money plus some. You can end up owing the broker more money than you have very easily. So be careful on futures. Be careful, be careful, be careful. And that said, since I'm starting to talk about trades, flip over. All trading involves a substantial risk of loss. Past performance not necessarily indicative of future results. This presentation intended to be informational, educational, fun, and entertaining. It is not a recommendation to buy or sell anything. All right? No financial instruments, no stocks, no options, no bonds, no cryptos, no forex, no futures. Don't buy them, don't sell them, don't long them, don't short them. Don't buy stuff from gurus that you don't trust. And if you desire personal financial advice, that's not me. You need to hire and consult a financial advisor with a fiduciary duty to give you advice based on your financial situation. Now, coming up this week is a big week. A big week. I tell you, I'm kind of nervous about this week, honestly. So today, kind of benign. Not a lot happening. Tomorrow, before the market opens, CPI right there. The market has been reacting quite a bit to CPI this year. Let's just put it that way. Then PPI, market hasn't been reacting as much to PPI, but PPI comes in on Wednesday morning before the market open. And then at 2 p.m., mark this, set an alert for this, FOMC. They're going to come out. Jerome Powell's going to speak at 2:30, right there, 2:30. He's going to speak in the presser, and he's going to either be hawkish or dovish and say all the things that we already knew, but for some reason the algos go crazy for, and you got to be careful. You can't, there are no shares of SPX. You can trade options on SPX, and they're big, and you can trade XSP, which is 1/10 the size. And you know what? When you trade SPX and XSP, the indexes, any index, you get tax treatment, preferred tax treatment, at least in the US. I don't know about around the world, but you get 60-40, even on a day trade. Like if you day trade the options, 60% of that gain is long-term and 40% short-term. It's I think it's 1236, section 1236 contracts. I think that's right. Anyway, they're special. It's treated like futures basically, even though it's an index. So, and they're Euro style, so there's no early exercise. So lots of advantages to trading the indexes, but you got to be careful. You can lose money very quickly. So, all right, and SPX and XSP have daily options too, so they have options that expire virtually every day. All right, Thursday. After all that, we get core retail sales before the market opens. So we're going to be digesting the FOMC meeting at 2 o'clock on Wednesday, and then before the market even opens up again, we get core retail sales and unemployment. This is going to be a firework-filled week, more than likely. The odds are that we're going to see some sort of downside move. And if all that wasn't enough, on Friday, we have Empire State Manufacturing, along with the Flash Manufacturing and Services PMI. This is a big week of economic news, probably the biggest week left of 2023. Next week, we go into the week before Christmas, and then we have Christmas week and New Year's week, which are both abbreviated. Like the market will be closed on the 25th. It will be closed on the 1st. I do not plan on going live either of those days, just so you know. I'm going to take time off with my family. I like my family. Kimberly probably like, I'm glad to hear that. Anyway, I'm going to spend time with my family on Christmas and on New Year's. The market's closed. Crypto's going, but I don't expect a whole lot of fireworks, at least at this point. And I'll be with you the other 4 days. All right, so New Year's coming up. Golly, look at that. 1, 2, 3 weeks away from 2024. So remember, all 130 of you on the live stream, make sure you give me a thumbs up if I say anything you like, any news, information, anything that's helpful. Interact with the video, because the more you interact, the more you chat on the live stream, the more you interact with the video, the more YouTube pushes it. So thank you for being here, watching, and interacting. All right. So that's the layout for kind of the rest of the year. Any questions? Let me know in the chat. But there you go. It's my end of the year plan here. So we do have the big bear case put to bed, and we're likely to go positive in 2024, but that doesn't mean we don't see a pullback and some sort of craziness here the last couple of weeks. We could see some crazy. And this week could be the crazy, like CPI, PPI, FOMC, retail sales. I mean, it's stacked up. It is stacked up. All right. Economic news, and look at what we've done. I mean, look at where we are. S5FI. Look at where we are. What are the odds? Odds say we're likely to get a pullback. We're already at an extreme above the 80 line on the S5FI. I mean, all you got to do is zoom back here. Look, we don't hang out here longer than a few weeks, typically. 15 days, 15 trading days, which is 3 weeks. We don't typically spend more than about 3 weeks up here before we see some kind of pullback. This was the exception right here, where we rode that line for a couple months. I'm doing my best I can to warn you. There's going to be a 3 to 5% pullback, more than likely. I mean, high probability event here. And there's economic news that we could negatively react to coming up this week. Does it have to drop this week? No. Could I be completely wrong and everything be peachy keen and we make all-time high this week? Sure. The market can do whatever it wants to. All right? It's just people. We're all people. We're doing, we're all just reacting. So there's the market open in 2 seconds or so. All right. Can't find S5 on Robinhood or E-Trade. Yeah, it's probably it's only supported where it's supported. So S5FI is on TradingView It's on barchart.com. And TradingView didn't used to have it. They added it after, I guess, BarChart did. So you'll have to look it up on one of those charting platforms. You can't really trade on TradingView, funny enough. I mean, I guess you can if you hook it to the broker, whatever. It's more of a charting platform, as Goose and I were discussing this weekend. So it's pretty powerful too. It does I probably use less than 50% of the features, and very powerful. So we've discussed ES. NQ has the same kind of pullback potential. And in fact, it's getting dang close up here. I'm moving my stuff. Getting dang close to that target up here. Even, you know, despite the gap up, we almost filled the gap. And 16.5 was the upside target. Everybody, even if you're new here, the pattern, we typically bounce off this roadmap line. If you want the roadmap line, link is in the description. You just got to expand it where it has the more button, you know, the text under the video. Expand that. There's a link. $5. You can get this indicator and a watch list and get into Discord and come chat with us all day and my trader family. That thing bounced. Typically when we bounce and move positive, cross back over the 618 of the move up, we will get the 1272 about 7 out of 10 times. Sledge, always bragging, man. Always on these planes, chatting first thing in the morning. What the heck, dude? You must love to fly first thing in the morning. Russell, this is small caps. Maybe get that one little extension here and then pull back. So we may, as the ES NQ ride higher to those targets, you know, we may rally right up to the targets. Russell may pop up to this 1922 area and then pull back. CL has found support at that 69.70 level. I didn't liquidate. I held fast. We didn't really push through 69. We just kind of tagged it and reversed. It was right there. I got all sorts of alerts, but we've turned green. We went up on Friday. We're pushing back above that downtrend line again. Another attempt. We do have plenty of stuff to get through, though. If we rally right on up here, find resistance, turn down, make a 618 retrace, that would be the ideal situation. I may add right here. I may add for the long, because then it looks like we have a big up potential. As normal, I was early. We made a lower low. I'm just going to hold, start small on some of these bigger plays. This is why I say don't buy the dips. Wait till it proves it. This is proving it when we do this and then bounce, and we're still way below the roadmap line. So if you look at my UCO chart of the week from a couple weeks back, we never triggered anything but the super aggressive entry. So I was early. I took a super aggressive just because I put the chart out there and just it's my way of tracking it. GC looks like we're coming back to the roadmap line. We're pushing below that high I mentioned on Friday. Once we get below that high, that was like 3 waves up right there. 1, 2, 3 into that high. We could very well come back down here on gold. Be careful on gold. This looks like we're going to be bearish. So next level of support is at the roadmap line. If we get below that, watch out below. All right. That's the long and the short of it. Upside would be 2200, but right now we rejected hard at that 2150 area. Looks like we're going down for now. Bitcoin pulling back last night. All of a sudden, we were right up near the 618. I mean, I've been warning that we were due a pullback. We just back tested the channel. If we hold above the channel, we can go on another extension. That could have been all the retest we needed. You'd be like, JT, what the fudge are you talking about? Channel. We were in this channel riding up through here, right? I thought we might continue, but we busted out. We rallied up, ran out of steam, came back, tapped the top of the channel. Now that can be a breakout retest right there. We broke out of the channel. We could go up more. it's quite possible that with all the spot ETF approval excitement, that we make a higher high than we made right back here in 2021. We could. All right. These are possible things. It's also possible we go retest the breakout all the way back down here at 32,000. So be careful. Right now, there's no high probability move in Bitcoin set up. The move, we did the thing that I've been talking about for months. Now, without a pullback, it's kind of sketchy. All right. There's no solid trade here. I don't care what any mainstream media, I don't care what any hype, I don't care what anything on X or Facebook or Meta, or whatever. I don't care what any of the hype says. Nothing high probability here for now, except maybe pulling back. But even that you can't count on. It can stay irrational way longer than you can stay solvent in a trade. All right, it can just keep being stupid way longer than you have money to stay in the trade. Ethereum bounced right off of that 2,300 level. And we got the retrace right back to the breakout. That is the classic pattern. Hit the extension, retrace back to the breakout, and then go for the 1618. So it would not surprise me if we saw Ethereum rally right up to that. Yeah, we filled the gap. Could rally right up to that 25,000 or 2,500. All right. Dollar. Still trying to push through the roadmap line. Be careful. If this all of a sudden knee jerks, we could see this drop back down, maybe go down to the mid-90s. If we break through, we're coming up here. We break through that. We're going on up probably to this 108 area. Same pattern. Same everything. Macy's had a buyout offer for like $6 billion or $5.8 billion. A beautiful pop on Macy's. I'm holding like one share. Been holding one share for all this choppy downtrend. So we'll see what happens there. I make no speculations on the buyouts. I mean, 5.8 billion, they're going to have to justify to their shareholders why they don't take the deal. So that may or may not work. May or may not happen. This is a downtrend right now. Still in a downtrend. Still below that high. Till we get above that high, we're still in a downtrend on Macy's. It's a private equity deal. If you didn't know about it, it's all over the Wall Street Journal and Forbes and whatever else. So cold. Ooh, man. It's an ultra short leverage. Be careful on leverage. That can burn you. Leverage cuts both ways. But that looks like we're going to hit 104, 105, possibly 122 right there. And natural gas. Anybody remember what JT said? Where natural gas was heading? Anybody still want to argue with me? How it's seasonally going to go up? Hey, Randy. Good morning. Glad to have you on the stream. Anybody want to argue with me? No? Okay, cool. Still likely to go back down to $2.05. I don't care about the seasonality. We broke below. And there we are. That's the target. Almost high probability. ASML. They had a big, I guess, chip deal or something like, I guess, factory supply deal for New York, whatever. I guess state of New York and a couple chip companies getting together, and they're going to buy a bunch of fab equipment from ASML, a Dutch company. And seems to be positive for ASML. So continuing to push higher. This looks like we are no longer potentially corrective, and we're going to bust on up higher and run to this 829. So that's about a 15% upside from here. Pretty strong. MDB looks like we're going to head back down to the roadmap line. Could turn higher here. That's a classic pattern where we bounce off the breakout, retrace to the 618, and then extend out to the 1272. That's also possible. It's also possible. It's a low probability thing at this point. We're either going to do this or come down here. So you could buy. I mean, this is kind of like the, where do you play? You could potentially buy it here, looking for the pop with a stop down here, and you know you're wrong if you bust through. So fair risk to reward on that one. Not the most awesome. I mean, it's like $76 upside with a, what, $40 downside. So almost 2 to 1. Not quite. Good morning, all Val. Humana. They were popping pre-market. Now they're dropping. That's probably on Cigna. It's probably like a Cigna popping, but that's kind of bearish. All right, we're flat on the roadmap line. No trend. Just been chopping in a range all year. You know, this is actually bearish, and we may see, this could be like the wave 2 pop, and we could drop significantly more. What am I talking about? Well, look, we tend to correct in 3 big moves. That was 1 big move. That's 2 big moves. Third big move would put us down here. Typically, the third move is similar in size to the first move. Yeah, come on. Line tool, simple as that. Draw your line, move it over here. There's your target, right down here. Could it take longer? Could it go faster? I mean, it's not a time-wise line. It's a, that's where we could be, all right? By the time this thing bottoms out, we may be down here. May. Doesn't have to happen. This could have been all the correction. We could be heading higher, but I don't know. At this point, we have a higher low, and we've got a lower high. Not sure what we're going to do on Cigna, but down looks like it may be what we're going to do. Right down in there. DoorDash continues to be strong. 106 is the resistance, and once we get to here, it starts to be being highly likely we're going to see a pullback, although we could keep climbing the fib ladder. 120, 128, 150, 163. Just the higher we climb, the more likely we're going to get a large pullback. Large, fast pullback. GE, grinding at the highs. 124 is the upside there. Excuse me. Monster talking to me. Shouldn't chug them. Start talking to you. 124 is the upside there. And, yeah. Highly likely we get a pullback after that point. ABBV, it's choppy sideways. Yeah, just choppy sideways. Nike. It hit resistance, Ronald. Welcome to the conversation. What happened to Bitcoin? It hit resistance last week. Nike. Resistance right there. AMD. Right up at the resistance. If we break out, we're probably heading to 140. If 150, then we'll find resistance. Best Buy. That's a downtrend. Resistance up here. That could be the 3-wave correction. Right to the 1272. We're busting up through. We busted up through. I thought we were going to drop down, but we didn't. It's kind of indicating that we're probably going to break out, probably going to bust through and go higher at this point. That first move down, third move down, a little bit bigger, hit the 1272. Now we're busting up through. We break through that high. We break through the downtrend line first, then the high, then that high, and we're going on up. Maybe like, well, what kind of upside target potentially on Best Buy? maybe 95, maybe 108. So as soon as we bust through, be heading up here, get through that, probably up here, and there'll probably be pullbacks along the way. Nothing goes straight up. So ROST, Ross Stores. Oh, look at that. Got a little baby pullback in there, and then pop. It's like 136, probably what we're gunning for. And we might find resistance at 136 and get one of these bigger pullbacks. Pins. That's going to be hitting targets too. Pins has a long way to go though. Probably 43 after that breakout. If it's going to be bullish, it's going to get to at least 43, if not 53, before a bigger pullback. And bigger, I'm talking about like one of these. Yeah, big pullback right there. It's going to do another one of those. Does it do it from 43? Does it do it from 53? Not exactly sure. It did like several in a row there. Look, big pullback, big pullback, big pullback. Now we're rallying. It's going to do another one from up here. So, I mean, it could do it at 37. Like if it's bearish, if this whole move up is bearish, it's going to stop at 37. And we're going to break back below this. And we're going to go down probably to 12. If we bust right on up through, get to 43, that's like, could be bullish, could be bearish. If we get to 53, it's most likely turning bullish. MSTR, pulling back big. I'm out of it. And big's all relative. I mean, down 4.5%. Basically got up in the vicinity of the target. I mean, kind of flat actually. Be interesting to see where that goes. You know, gap down and just kind of flat for the day. Going to turn positive. Could rally up and hit the target at 617. Now the 70% likely target was 32. This one's only 40% likely to get hit. So be careful out there. I did trade it from down here up into here when it's not on the log scale. That's cool. Not adjusting. Beautiful. Love it. SMCI. And I told you this one's not bullish yet. And if we break down below these lows, we're probably going on an extension lower. Not bullish yet. Coin, also reacting. This is resistance. We got to resistance. I liquidated my position because that can be the resistance right there. We are overextended on the upside. We could use a pullback. I'll probably reload for late next year. If we get a pullback, time will tell. SC, just chopping at the bottom here. Not really doing anything. Oil pulled back because natural gas is going in the toilet. And look at that dropping off there. ALGN, I suspect UNG is the same. Dropping off the cliff. Yep. Down in a blaze of glory. Yeah, gold's going lower. That's if you missed it, Arthur, you can rewind. You just move the little bar at the bottom of the screen, a little red, red bar down there at the bottom of YouTube, right, just probably right about here. Just pull that bar back and you can find where I talked about gold. ALGN, Align Technology. It's got a gap resistance right there. And we may be headed down to 100. ALB continues to look pretty gnarly. Chopping in this box, just consolidating. No high probability anything at this point. COGT. Ooh, be careful. That can find resistance at the roadmap line. And, oh, it did. It found it and turned down. Look at that. There it is, down at 4. Biotech. Biotech alert. Look at that. Right to the 1618. I think I'd do this for... This is a biotech. Be careful. Biotechs just do crazy stuff, but that one did the pattern. And it's low priced, under $10. So under $10 stuff sometimes doesn't follow patterns. Low priced and biotech a lot of times can just do crazy stuff. I don't tend to trade it. And, you know, so low price stuff, biotech, med tech, you know, anything medical biotech, you know, FDA approval stuff, that's number 2. China stuff, number 3. Leverage stuff, number 4. Those are the things to be careful with. Be careful. I've gotten my hand burned more than once on all of those things. EMPH, and my trading account too, is what I'm really talking about. EMPH coming up, rejecting off of that resistance zone, maybe turning lower. We may rally on up to hit the roadmap line, but that's the first cautionary right there. If we start dropping again, heading on down. BITX, of course, retracing. That was a crazy move on a leverage. I mean, look, leverage stuff. Be careful. Volatility shares, trust, 2x Bitcoin right there. What goes up has to come down. When they go up crazy, they come down crazy. Be careful. BMEA went up crazy, right back down crazy. It just goes right with what I was saying a second ago. And that's also a pharmaceutical med tech. Be careful, that whole industry, unpredictable sometimes. EDU, yeah, continuing to consolidate it up here. Highly likely we get a pullback, something like one of these. Highly likely we get one of those in here. ZM, Zoom, just choppy sideways, kind of rounding out the bottom. If we can start breaking through this resistance, we could go higher on Zoom. If we don't, odds are we're probably going to push some lower lows. Con L, that's a leveraged on Coinbase right there. I already got the leverage button selected. And, you know, it could go higher. Baidu, right here. We need to bust up through that zone to go higher. Just hadn't really moved. We did the measured bounce retrace and just kind of parked there for a week now. If we can break out higher above the roadmap line, going higher. If not, watch out, going lower. Google, just consolidating between the roadmap line and the descending trend line. We break out, we're probably going on up, retest those highs from back here. All-time highs, retest those. If we break down below this line, we're going on a deeper retrace. Simple as that. Bias for the day, cautiously bullish, but definitely waiting for that pullback. And as my message just said, thanks for watching, everybody. Give me a thumbs up if anything I said was helpful. Interact with the video, share with somebody that you think might find benefit, and come join us in Discord. Link is in the description down below. I'll be back again with you tomorrow. Bye for now.